Hello everybody, long time no see. Today in our studio we're gonna have the Demon's Mirror. So it's a rarity that I can look at the game and just tell I'm going to probably love it. But that's precisely what's happened a little back when I had the opportunity to preview a game called Demon's Mirror from Be Red Entertainment and God Shepherd Entertainment. I look at the mix of Merge 3 and Deck Builder and instantly saw the inspiration. This was a game that mixed puzzle quest with roguelike mechanics from titles like Slay the Spire. And what's truly outstanding about Demon's Mirror is that the hybrid not only works, but it works incredibly well, which is why it's one of the best games I ever played all year. First, let's get something out the way quickly. Everything that I typically find issue with non-roguelike games are deck builders, namely balance issues. While the Demon's Mirror gets it right, gets it completely right. And to explain a little bit of that, I'm not going to spend any more time talking about things that game does poorly, other than some very minor critiques, maybe in the end. Instead, let's talk about now how many things that we made adore this adventure. So it all begins with the mysterious mirror in the forest. You elders warned you about it, but the siren song of Enchained Mirror draws you to do it. Nevertheless, once face to face, you see reflected back at your monster. Worse, it grabs you and drags you throughout the mirror surface into the mysterious realm. Oh, and I did mention you have transformed into the monster you saw. Yes, it is the sort of story and it's great. You start by playing the Fierce Ball and the Chain-Dragging Wolf by playing and accumulating experience with him. You'll be unlucky Sly Source's Draga, and by playing as her, you unlock the final character, an engineer named Axel. Each character has unique quirks and determine how you play them, but they also have some things in common. Namely, you draw a new hand of cards every turn and spend the action points to play them, and all of the variable cost from 0 to 3. There where things get interesting, you also need to use your AP in order to chain titles on the right side of the screen. Generally, chasing costs 2 AP. There are 4 main types of titles. Attack tiles indicated by red crossed swords, defense titles demonstrated by blue shields, essence titles that appeal as green starburst, and willpower tiles that look like purple crystals. And changing 3 of any tile will let you use them. So, if you chain 3 attack tiles, you'll deal 3 damage. Apologize. And the length of the chain affects how powerful it is, so chain more than 3 will really well up your foe or boost your defense. As for the essence, willpower tiles, they also work a little differently. The former can empower certain cards in your hand, allowing you to temporarily do increased damage and more. The cats, it is every turn you lose 1/3 of your total essence, so it's good to use it quickly, as the for willpower, chaining a set amount of them will allow you to pick from 3 different crystals, each of which does something different depending on the character. For example, Wolf can use willpower to attack, recover from status elements, or artificially increase the length of the next chain. Furthermore, each time you chain enough willpower tiles, you get a boosted effect for your 3 choices. Throughout this does backs all the time. Lastly, enemy and junk tiles. Enemy tiles will advertise that they are going to do and they are going to do it. Generally, there'll be a specific type of a tile as well, so you can chain them with the similar tiles to destroy them. If you don't, they do something after enough time has passed, and they can do anything an enemy can: attack you, heal the enemies, or afflict you with the status elements. Giant tiles can take space up, making it harder to chain or hurt you for chaining throughout them. As for how long the characters are differentiated, here is a quick illustration. Wolf is super aggressive, getting 1 free chain each turn. He's capable of destroying and moving tiles around with the skill cards and can also grow barbed skin and generally wallops foes. Draga is more bit of intellectual character. Her first chain each turns 1 AP instead of 2, and each chain reduces AP cost of the card by 1. She can also use the influence cards to reduce the enemy base health, allowing her to defeat them without physical damage. As for Exo, he is Chaos Agent. He generates one of the conductor tile every turn, and by changing them, you reduce the cost of chain by 1 per tile. This means you can utilize chains for 0 cost with enough of them. Exo can also choke the foes, damaging them time you make a chain. That's a quick version, but you can start to see how they vary. The thing major through the game is each playable character is fun to play while also being wholly unique. Like the most roguelikes, you choose your balancing part and encounter battles, random events, shops and more. Random events live up to their name and can be blessed of course you equally. You might pick up a new card, get hexed, or even get a brand new trinket. Those are incredibly powerful relics that change how you play with amazing passive effects. Each of the chancers start with their trademark trinket, but you can pick up more and more by taking on elite monsters and winning it. You can also consult with the giant store creatures and get a preview of upcoming boss fights or remove cards from your deck. Then at campfires you can either heal or acquire random single-use scrolls, and then there is incredible creepy shopkeeper who definitely isn't some horrifying monster wearing a mask. He lets you to buy scrolls, trinkets and cards. Most important of all, he lets you spend cash to upgrade cards in your deck, sometimes dramatically increasing the utility. Your goal is in a demon's mirror to make your way throughout 3 separate regions. Defeating the boss at the end, I found every incredible attractive, and first time I played the game I did also for an hour and a half and straight, which is rare for me than the PC games. Ultimately, I spent a good 15 hours before I finally beat the game with Draga. The good news is their replay value after, since getting the true endings requires beating the game once with each character and then using something called modifiers. Well, you know, modifiers are gradually unlocked as you play them, and as name suggests, let you change the name. You may take enemies weaker or get more bonus items at start for each run. What's fascinating is that the vast majority, again and again, to return, they master the game. I could help but note from the suspected modifier with the chains laying on the other 3 characters, suffice to say I haven't gotten the best ending, but I'm working on it. While the game is undoubtedly well balanced, it is also quite challenging. If you're not careful, you can easily lose to any enemies, especially the elite foes and bosses. I was totally fine with the silence I allowed. Game equipped me everything I needed to beat it. As a proof, I actually beat the game the first time, an unexpected update, which deleted all of my progress after 13 hours. Underrated, I started from scratch, unlocking stuff as I went and managed to beat the game 2 hours later. While that may sound bad, here's why I'm not docking any points. For one, this update only affected those with review copies. For other, how can I complain? It was able to beat the whole thing, me, 2 hours after starting from the scratch. You know, despite the minor issues I mentioned above, nothing could bring down my experience with the Demon's Mirror. This is an extraordinary roguelike deck builder with a clever implementation of Chain 3 mechanics. Not only is wholly endorsing and addictive, but it's also really well balanced. If you are at all fan of this genre, you will owe it to yourself to pick it up right now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Yo, bye bye. It's a peace.